Yo, 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 welcome to First Smoke of the Day, first episode. Got my man L Boogie on here, BlackLeaf.
What up?
Yes, sir. Out here smoking big. What you smoking on?
London pound cake from Maywood Cookies.
Maywood.
My buddy Boro Blaster sitting to the right of me just picked up some flavors on the way over and wanted to try a couple new flavors while we're recording the cast.
Got that boy Boro Blaster in the building.
How's it going over there, bro? I'm smoking on some Fidels right now.
Woo!
Shit's got me a little slumped. I'm not gonna lie, bro. I really like the taste on this.
The
It's a fatty.
new collab, the what is it? The hash hole.
Yeah, the little hash
Yeah,
hole.
that
It's
shit's
got a little
dope.
snake of hash rosin going in this.
A worm.
And a little worm.
Worm
Donut.
action. I like that.
What about
I
you,
fuck
bro?
with that.
What are you rolling
I'm
up
about
right
to
now?
roll up some Blue Nerds and some Gushers. That boy Sure Bunny,
Oh, okay.
Gelato Kid. Shout out to him. And I'm gonna roll both those up real quick.
Cali weed.
get
Oh
it.
yeah. So, man, pretty impressed. I won't lie. I like this London pound cake. Shit's burning really nice. You want to try this?
Like it.
Really nice. But
White
I mean,
ash, white ash,
yeah, definitely different than the first time I smoked.
greasy, it's greasy.
Yeah.
I like that. Nice. The cone isn't about shit.
Not a fan of the cones.
I mean,
What in the hell is that?
but
Oh,
God,
we
this compared to
got a special guest in the building too. We'll be in the background chiming in.
the stuff we used to smoke. I mean, what about the stuff you came up smoking?
Oh my God,
Yeah,
so crazy, Reggie.
yeah,
You know, like
picking out
Regs,
seeds, picking out stems,
100%, and
Yeah.
big Philly blunts. Like,
but still sticky.
yeah, you know, and then you kind of you know peep game and
Yeah,
learn and adapt and
yeah.
taste gets better. You know what I mean? So
Yeah. Was Crippy was on the
Yeah.
market when you
Yeah,
first?
for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah. See, I didn't even know about nothing. My dad had a.
you started with just Crippy.
Well, okay. The first time I saw weed, my dad had a cowboy hat, and he's not even a cowboy. And so
Was this your first experience with weed?
this is my first experience seeing weed,
Seeing
not
weed.
smoking it.
Okay, got it.
I was like, my dad's not even a cowboy. What's he have a cowboy hat for? And he doesn't even wear it. So we pulled it down one day, and was like, and
Coach,
sure.
shout out to Coach.
Oh my God. It had to have been the worst weed I've ever seen. It was a bag of sticks and stems with some buffer of weed in the middle of it.
Probably forgot about that.
Oh no, I mean, no, there was a bowl in there that was like one of those little metal deals with the little screw down top, and you like light it and it sucks in.
Can't wait for Coach to hear this.
Nah, but yeah, we
So were you tempted or what? What happened?
took a little pinch of it and sold it. That was my experience with weed.
What year was this?
This was my last year of middle school,
Wow.
and sold like maybe $50, a couple bags of weed to different people.
Hypothetically.
Hypothetically.
So
Yeah.
hypothetically,
Yes.
middle school, you were already
That was the first time I
Hustling.
ever saw weed, and I was like, "Oh, this is worth money." And I didn't have much money, so here's some money and I knew some dudes that smoked weed, so we did that, right? And then the first time I actually smoked weed's way different. That's fast forward into my first year of college, right?
But wait, did you want to try it when you sold it?
No. To be honest, bro, I didn't even it wasn't even crossing my mind like that. It more was like, "Oh, this is
If it would have been good or better looking, do you think you would have wanted to?
yeah, for sure."
It was like sticky or something.
Yeah, yeah.
Like you would have been like, oh,
Yeah.
it could smell like sweet.
like,
or
what
something.
is this? This is like
Right?
yeah, from the
It was
moon.
like sticks and stems. So you're just
Oh, bro, it looked crazy. It looked like
Yeah.
someone picked it up from back in
Yeah,
the
yeah,
backyard and put it in
that's
the bag.
why. Because I'm
Yeah.
like, just went. I'm like, all right. So
It smelled-
and then the thought didn't cross your mind.
You ever
until-
smelled like old burned weed too? Like where it has that like old
Yeah, already
like
been lit.
resiny smell?
already been lit?
Yeah, yeah.
like
hate
volcano weed.
Yeah, I hate that.
Oh,
Can't relight them.
ugh.
Yeah.
Nah, so yeah, that was just
So from 15 to what 18?
first year of college would have been I was
Yeah,
no, I was 20. Like like 19, 20, I think, right?
you're a late bloomer.
Yeah, I was. No, yeah, but
You made
no,
it,
first year of college, on my way to a concert. And I had friends that smoked all the way through high school and stuff, but I just never really like they would do shit like lock me in the car and I'd sit in the middle and we'd be on the way to a party and they'd box the car, this shit that like
how would you feel?
like, hey, you're with us, so you're with us. Like,
yeah, of course.
you're getting high even if we can't make you smoke, right? So, but then like in college, it was different, right? I'm sitting in a car and we got some girls around and I was in a fraternity. So the fraternity I was pledging at the time, my big brother was in the front seat.
Yeah, I love him.
Start passing around a blunt too. And so this is the first time smoking was a blunt, not a joint, not a, bowl, nothing. It was
They
like,
jumped you in hard.
well, I passed it. I had two girls, one on the right and one on the left of me, and one handed me the blunt, and I passed it to the other girl, and I saw both of them turned around in the seat, and were like, my big brother was like, hit that shit, bro. And I was like, oh, and he was like, no, hit that fucking shit, bro. And I was like, all right. And I hit it. We smoked a couple times, and I was like, wow, and so we went to the concert, and I had probably the best experience of my life. And that was the first day of smoking. And I haven't stopped smoking since that day.
In retrospect, can you give us
Crazy.
Can you tell us which concert it was? We're just trying to get an idea what year this was.
Okay, so this was not to say this was exactly my style of music, but yeah, you'll get the year. Newfound Glory, Good Charlotte.
Okay. So this is about like 2001.
Some like soft punk.
Did you have your hair spiked?
I think everyone in the fraternity was. This is 2002. Yes, 2002.
Did you guys have pointy toe shoes on?
Everyone had
You had your dress shirt tucked in and shit?
Steve Madden's. I think at the time Steve Madden's was like the Steez,
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Dude, going to the Roxy?
It was I worked there. I worked the front door.
That's classic.
Yeah. Times were early 2000s though, smoking and growing weed or smoking weed was a lot different. I mean, we were still getting fire though. This is a thing. I didn't know how good I had it. The guy to my left in my fraternity was a grower. Like the guy who was rolling the blunt, who had the weed, like was literally a grower and was a very good grower. So at the time, me starting to smoke weed was like, oh, this is straight hydroponic fire.
Oh, so you started at the top.
I mean, this is the guy. Literally, that was my first mentors.
You were like smoking
Crippy.
Yeah, really.
That's what it was.
Pot off the vine.
Pot of gold.
Okay.
POG. Blueberry.
Yep.
And we used to have some straight Cali Indica, Blue Mystic.
I remember that one.
Question. Was there Bubbas around then? You didn't.
Nah. Years later, we saw Bubba's coming in and stuff, but and that's what people always say, like, oh, OG in Florida, right? And the weird part was like none of the strains that any of the guys I was around coming up were growing OGs. None of that. It was Kush, yes, Kush, but more like the Afghan, but mostly just crazy sativas and stuff. Like when you think of Florida, you think of fruit.
Yeah.
Like that, bro. Like just gassy, fruity stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Real different. What about you?
I feel like that, like green crack type stuff.
Yeah.
Like, just they used to call it like surfer's crack.
Racy sativas.
Yeah, like it just, I don't know, Crippy was like green and orange hairs and sticky and just like potent. It was much different. Like I will say that it was much different.
What about your first time smoking? You were young?
Man, my first time smoking. It's funny. It was like 8th grade graduation party.
Yeah.
And my boy had told me, he was like, yo, I rolled you a joint for later. And I was like, what?
I'm going to change your life.
Man. I was like, all right. I was, and the whole rest of the day, I was thinking about that shit. I couldn't stop thinking about it. So we got to the party finally. Hands me a full joint. And it's like a zigzag joint. But I mean, I never smoked in my life from 8th grade, going to the 9th grade. And I smoked the full thing with him. And he was like, it's called Creeper Bud, man. A Creeper Bud.
Oh, God. Yeah, I bet.
Dude, it was like 2 a.m. I was calling my grandparents. I was like, you guys got to come pick me up.
We smoked this Creeper Bud.
My stomach hurts. Oh, dude, I couldn't sleep. It was like 30 people trying to stay the night. It was a mess. I was like, I gotta dip. And then since then, I legitimately didn't smoke weed until I pretty much graduated.
So you basically you were like, okay, I'm good.
Like
on that
last
then.
year of high school, I started smoking.
How long between the first time and the next time you smoked weed?
I mean, that was what, 4 years?
Yeah. Wow.
3 years? Yeah, it's kind of similar.
Yeah. Trippy.
But you didn't smoke it.
No, I was staring at it.
I didn't obviously just take the joint and I just smoked it with him, and that shit was intense. It was crazy. Full joint. I should have taken a couple hits. It would have been way
That's
different.
crazy.
Was that
I annihilated myself, and it was a night that I just like, we were all pranking each other. Like it was just chaos, bro. It was nuts.
Yes.
question? Was that the most high you've ever been in your entire life?
For sure.
The
That's
first
awesome.
time.
Gotta be, because like I was like spinning, like drunk. Like, have you ever took a dip and you're like,
No, I haven't.
Yeah, bro.
Also, I was not born on a barn, so
Well, if you use snuff or whatever, if you ever try it, I play baseball and shit like that. My dad done it my whole life. If you try it or accidentally swallow it, you'll get like the spins and you get sick. It's crazy. It's like nicotine overdose, right? You can get it if you like huff a bunch of jewel pens or like any of that. Like
riding
you'll
a roller
start
coaster.
feeling
Holy
sick.
shit.
You'll start feeling nauseous. So that's how I felt, and it was chaos, bro. It was funny, but yeah, my life changed after that, and it was just like I ended up going to a different school the next year and all that. None of that was related, but it just ended up panning out different for me. And then I caught back up with my boys and all that, and like I'd say like my junior to senior year is when I started smoking here and there.
Yeah.
From then on, no.
It was fire, or what were you guys smoking on when you were smoking? It was more mids and Reggies.
It depends who I was around, because I wasn't like having it.
When was the first time you had some like homegrown? You know what I'm saying? Some stuff that you would say like what we're smoking now, you know, something on that level. Like, was it years later or was it around?
I was
you?
probably like 18.
Yeah. That was like
I started understanding, and like I knew a few people that like could, you know, get to it. So I was like, you know,
yeah.
it came around. So, and then once I started smoking that, the most I could do was like mix it a little bit.
Yeah.
If I had like some mids or something, like mix it in or whatever, stretch it out. But like other than that, it's like
I miss
gotta
those
smoke.
days.
I gotta smoke good shit.
We would take like a bubbler and go to the movies, and we'd be smoking like a huge bubbler on the way to the movies, and you'd be like, "What fucking movie did we see?" And no one could tell you. We're like leaving the movie, and everybody was like, "I don't know."
you must have been high as hell.
Oh, bro, we were smoking literally like homegrown fire in the beginning, so it was just like blasted, you know, straight from the beginning of like, and then it was, I didn't even understand that. It honestly took me a little bit to understand, like, wow, no one else's weed looks like that guy's weed. Like, why does the guy that I know's weed look like that? And that all stuff looks like it's been like pushed down. Right. And like, and so that's when I started realizing like, oh, these guys are someone different. Right. And that was my first introductory to like growers, was guys like that were just around, who, when you look at their weed, and I'm sure a lot of smokers can relate to that, some people's weed just looks a lot different than others. And you're like, okay, this guy is somebody and does something, you know?
Yeah. 100%. Boro, let's talk about your first time, big dog.
Bro, I feel like I've been spoiled. Like, I started smoking.
You're from Cali?
Yeah, bro. Grew up here,
Okay,
Southern
Cali native.
California.
Give us some backdrop. Give some backdrop on the brand, everything, and then tell us about your first time.
Okay, I got you on that.
First experience.
So I've been doing sandblasting for about 3 or 4 years now. I mostly engrave stuff, promotional products, branded products, but I'm starting to get more into the art side of stuff. Pretty much focused only on cannabis businesses. I've been working in the cannabis industry, like pretty much everything you can imagine, bro. I've done sales, packaging, distribution, some extraction. Like,
But yeah, I mean, so you basically weave through the game, through the industry, the cannabis industry.
yeah, I've done everything. I used to see it kind of as like a negative thing, but now I'm looking at it as a positive, because now everybody's kind of coming back like full circle. Like, people that I haven't talked to in a few years are like now placing orders, or now I'm working with them and they're
It's
helping
a lot
me
of
out.
entrepreneurs to know too. I mean, everyone's an entrepreneur in that game, so you're working with a lot of entrepreneurs.
Yeah, it's a great circle to be around. Like, everybody I know runs a business. Everybody I know like is striving to have more businesses or real estate, stocks, everything like that. So like, it's been a huge blessing to have like solid people around me. You know, shout out BlackLeaf, shout out Ether, shout out Armin. But yeah, I've been kind of all around the industry. I really found my niche kind of while I was working at Candescent. I was kind of as a way to get customers. I'd make them something. I'd make them an ashtray. I'd make them a rolling tray. And
You do that well. It's actually a term. They actually wrote a book on it. It's called giftology. And you gift really well, and I pick up on that because like this guy's into gifting. He's into gifting. I'm into gifting. I believe in that big time to like build relationships. You should give them a thoughtful gift or something they didn't like think to buy themselves. But you do that really well with your products, and like shout out to you for that. You brought an ashtray today. It says first smoke of the day.
I enjoy it. I'm
a
sure
logo
you enjoy
I didn't
it.
even give you. You just took initiative and made it happen.
It
and
looks
do it.
killer.
And that's the first lesson of entrepreneurship, is that you just got to get out there and start taking swings, you know, start taking shots.
Yo, real talk on that.
Nothing happens until you do that, you know, and a lot of people just don't want to fake themselves out, but you do that really well, and you bring your product and you gift it, and you got a good spirit. So like, that's the first whole half of the battle.
First time I met him, that was the first thing I saw, was like, wow, I blew my mind he can transform anything into something branded or something custom, right? So you have something that like you buy even as basic as a $20 ashtray you bought because you liked it, cool, it was on eBay, it's a plain glass ashtray, you give it to this guy, next thing you know, you have this crazy art piece that that's your ashtray. I mean, it really, for me, is like, I consider myself like artsy. It blew my mind. I started thinking different with like, even my coffee table at my house, right? The next thing I thought of was like, dude, I want to make this thing into one big rose, the whole coffee table, huge petals and like just some really different stuff. And that's what with him, I just think differently. And that's what I think is really cool about that.
Yeah. Shout out to the table idea. That's going to come to life soon. I'm working on a fridge too, bro. Yeah. This one's crazy. My barber, I was looking at his fridge. So I was getting my cut the other day. And I'm like, bro, your fridge is pretty boring. Like, let me come customize it. It's all glass, so we're gonna do some crazy shit for that.
Anything is. That's what's cool about it. Your canvas is whatever. Well, and that's why you're working with a bunch of cannabis businesses. And that's what's cool too, because a lot of those guys think outside the box. So a lot of your projects are different.
Yeah, I've been real blessed in the cannabis industry, to be honest. Like at first, I used to get kind of like screwed over every now and then. People would be bad at paying their invoices and stuff, but that's all part of the game. Like you learn that, you learn the systems, and then you get on top of it and shit starts running smooth and you go, oh shit, I'm glad I stayed down with that, So you were introduced to weed early then, because you're from Cali, right? And you're working around weed guys. So like, what was the start then? Was it like real young or what? Bro, so I'm spoiled. I feel bad hearing your stories. Like I grew up in the Prop 215 market, so weed was pretty much legal here, like in a sense, it was
but you
medical.
knew about it like middle school type stuff or high school? Like
I got my rec when I was in high school. My first time smoking, I was like 16. Like
you were in high school and you got a rec card?
Yeah, I turned 18 my senior year, bro. And I went and got my rec card, bro. And I kept that shit on the DL because I hated dealing with people, bro. Like, and everybody I dealt with, like, they wanted to, get a thing or two. Like, was a pain in the ass, bro. So it was pretty much just like my own thing. And it was kind of self-medicating, bro. I had ADD. I didn't realize it. And I had a lot of anxiety. So smoking really helped me. And, like, my grades started going up. Like,
really? Awesome.
My social life was a lot better because it was nice to have something like...
That's crazy.
Yeah, bro. It was real weird. And then, I just kind of dove, like, head first into it. Like, literally got my rec, bro. And I went to, like, every shop. Shout out to...
were your friends already smoking at that time? Or was you just kind of on your own?
Yeah, a bunch of my friends. My first time actually smoking, bro. This is funny. You guys all smoked flower your first time.
Yeah.
My first time ever smoking was dabs.
Oof.
Shout out to the G Pen, bro. We had it was when I was playing football, bro. It was like a team bonding. I got on varsity, and the dudes are like, "Oh yeah, you got to come over, bro. Like, come over to Marshall's house, bro." And we go over there, and it's a bunch of dudes, bro, just hanging out. But they're like, "Try this," and I'm like, "Okay." And I hit this pen. I hit it maybe like 10 times throughout the night.
Okay.
Fucking lit, bro. Fucking so lit. And then the next day, like, we had the football game or like our practice, whatever it was, against our other high school.
Yeah.
My lungs hurt so bad, bro. I couldn't play for shit, but I loved it after that. And then the next weekend, I smoked my first like bong hit, and it was off of Dave Goldstein piece, like the same one that I got from you the other day.
Yeah.
So like I've been like spoiled, bro. Like,
what did you enjoy better, flower or wax the first couple times you smoked? I mean, as in,
honestly, I think wax. I mean, still to this day.
A young Boro.
Bro, it was wax, but the stuff back then was real boof, and it wasn't necessarily like hard to get, but it was like
even in Cali, it wasn't up to where it is now, obviously.
Yeah, like, I mean, you would go to the shop, bro, and they used to have like 5 for $100, and it'd be this like nasty ass crumble, or like, you could get the one for $35 a gram, and it was like...
That's like the started dab, so you were probably getting some stuff that was blown in the backyard.
Yeah, bro, my lungs are probably have like popcorn in them right now, bro.
No,
but yeah, bro, I've been smoking...
We were all talk about taking hot dabs in the beginning.
Straight titanium red nails,
no
Dude, we used to think that you had to take it when it was red hot. That was like the rule. Was like, hey, it's cooling down. Don't hit it. We need to heat it back up.
That's why I don't dab, or like I don't really like dabs. It's because like I remember the Colorado days and shit.
Yeah.
Where, like you swing the nail and it was just, like red hot, and like you're choking for like 20 minutes.
It took a while. I mean, who was the first guy to realize?
Like some tap water out of the
and then you're reevaluating your life,
your whole entire life in the mirror in the bathroom, trying to like get your tears out of your eyes, like,
pacing around the living room.
And then someone realized, man, this is a lot better when you let it cool down.
Yeah.
And the game changed.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I don't know, bro. I still kind of miss the hot dabs. Like you were talking
really?
earlier, when's the highest you've ever been, bro? And honestly, even the backseat of one of my homies' cars,
On
and
a
we're
hot
taking
dab?
hot dabs,
Oh.
bro. Not knowing what the fuck's going on, not knowing what we're doing to our lungs. And I just remember getting the spins like you were talking about, and like just being so lit, bro. Like probably super unenjoyable right now, you know, after having all this like nice, being spoiled by the nice smoke. But yeah, low key, it brings back memories.
You know what that's called? You weren't actually smoking dabs. You were actually freebasing.
Dab.
You were freebasing the dab.
Tweak your technology, bro.
What are you smoking on right now, Boro?
I have this Grandiflora blunt. It's a hemp wrap with a glass tip, bro. It's the supercharger.
What flower?
Supercharger flavor.
Oh, nice.
I don't remember what the other choices were, but that one just sounded gas, bro. I wanted something a little bit heavy on the smoke.
Yeah.
I used to be real into sativas, but now I'm like garlic, hardcore OG. I really like those heavy, like
Yep.
indica type things. But I still like the fruity flavors.
How you liking that?
It's good, bro.
Yeah.
I miss the Fidels. The Fidels is my preferred one.
Okay,
You wanna try
okay.
it?
Yeah, I would love to.
This London pancakes burn is super white
Really nice, right?
to the end. Burning good.
Cookies
I'm
Maywood
impressed. I'm impressed.
did a great job on that, which is
Shout out to
Surge
them.
Cannabis, those Fiore guys. I mean, Cookies Maywood definitely my favorite flower from Cookies is always coming from that facility.
Yeah, Maywood.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah, they got a lot of dope shit popping.
Yeah, really cool. And
That's
now
been-
they launched their own brand now. I know now they have like Fiore or something, which is
Yeah, I saw they did up a little plane, man.
Yeah,
They did
oh,
a private
man.
plane,
Shout out Mario
sick.
on the logo. That was Mario.
oh really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, wow, that's dope. That's fire. I think I did see that on his page.
Well, yeah, he's crazy. He's been doing all kinds of stuff. I met him by
Mario Medina, right?
Yeah, Mario Medina. I think that's literally his handle too, bro. And
Yeah.
Corner
Okay.
Store.
That's dope.
Fire.
That's dope.
Yo,
Man.
can you talk a little bit about the little collab you got coming out, BlackLeaf?
Seed collab or which one?
Yeah, let's start talking about the seed collab, definitely.
Well, 2-year breeding project that's coming to a culmination. So just had this idea in like the next level of like once you've grown for a decade plus, to start to think about, okay, I need to figure out how to breed. And so started going into what if we take some of our best strains and breed them with our other best strains, and as a young grower, that's all you used to think of is like, what would happen if we cross this with this? Or what, I mean, you start to dream about different crosses. Like, man, what if you took this crazy sativa and we bred it with this other crazy lemon sativa? Like what would we, and you start walking mentally down that path. So about 2 years ago, and I wanted to breed. And so I approached a good breeder that I was friends with called Raw Genetics. And he walked me through the process of reversing 2 different strains. We reversed Fruity Pebbles and we reversed Dirty Sprite. And I picked basically 12 to 15 of my best genetics, and we pollinated 12 to 15 strains with reversed feminized, Dirty Sprite. And then we did the same thing with Fruity Pebbles. So we have these basically on my best genetics times my best genetics. So this is the crazy part though. We realized first time we reversed Dirty Sprite that it wouldn't reverse, and it was dropping pollen that wouldn't produce seeds. It was just unusable pollen. So
Why does that happen?
we didn't know. So then we had to go back to the drawing board, and we asked a couple other breeders, and I even asked some other breeders. I think Umami is another breeder that he's friends with. And so we basically reworked the formula that we were using to reverse the females, and Dirty Sprite had to basically use a stronger strength formula to produce she's a finicky girl, Skittles would be along the same thing, right?
Yeah.
Hard to grow, worth the reward. So, I mean, we finally got a hold of that, and we had a successful breeding with Dirty Sprite, and Fruity Pebbles just throws down. And so, I mean, I'm super stoked. I spent the last 3 to 4 months working on the packaging and coming up with the names. I really wanted to come up with something we couldn't get sued over, A, and B, that was super original, that I was like, when you walk in a room, right, and you're looking down rows of beautiful plants, and you would say to me like, what strain is this, right? Which one's this one? And I'm like, oh, this is Sour Sapphire. Or this one over here, this is Watermelon Tourmaline. Or we got Dirty Diamonds. or we got canary diamonds, and it's the canary diamonds will be a lemonade type flavor, you know, and
Right.
you walk down that path. I thought that's us. That's what I want to be represented as. And I can't wait for people to find. The reason we came up with the Precious Gems tour was I really feel like people are buying an unearthed stone, and you're going to cut this thing and find something that's literally a precious gem. It's like mining for gems, mining for gold. You're looking and you're searching, you're hunting through these seeds, you're hunting, but in the end, you know, what you get is this gemstone that is, I mean, transformative for your brand, for you, for whatever you want to use it for. An original strain is what everyone wants.
Absolutely.
So
For anybody that smokes and enjoys it after that too.
yeah, and I'm excited. The terps I really put a lot of thought into, like, what would Dirty Sprite cross well with, and what would that be? You know what I'm saying? Like, what do I think would come out of that? And then same thing with Fruity Pebbles. You know, I know what they bring to the table better than anybody. Now I know what these other strains, and it's all, I bred it with stuff I know. That's none of this weird. A lot of these breeders breed stuff. They get strains from other friends. And I started realizing this, that they haven't even grown it out yet.
Yeah, they haven't ran it.
No. And then you realize later, like, oh, that wasn't even the real cut of that. So they released the seeds, and that wasn't even the real cut. They were
Damn.
crazy. I started to realize a lot of this later.
So everything you cross up something from your stable that you've already ran.
And you just sold a bunch of seeds from some stuff that's not what it's labeled. And I started realizing, man, I'm looking at my own seed purchases over the last 20 years now, 18 years.
Man.
And I'm like,
tackle boxes.
I
full of
wonder how
seeds.
many of these are not what they actually are. And that's what brought up, and I was like, you know what? I need to be transparent with people. I'll make posts. I'll show the actual process. I've shown on my Instagram of like different videos have gone up of like, here's me pollinating, here's this, here's us popping seed, just to walk through the process. And most likely you've tried or seen me grow these flavors. Like, you can see the pictures. There's no smoke screen of, yeah, this is this. Go ahead and buy a, $500 pack.
Right.
So I'm excited. I'm just excited to get these precious gems, as I'm referring to, into people's hands. I think some of these growers
Talk
are
about the
find.
packaging.
So we did at first, like with any project, you start walking down the path of like, I have this amazing idea. Can I get there?
Right.
And it started with, I want to do a real crystal, and there's a hole drilled inside of it, and that's where the seeds will be. And you will have this crystal, and the seeds will come inside of it. So then there's the whole thing too with the hippie side of it's charged now. So the seeds are charged through that crystal, if you believe in that. And I just thought, man, that's super cool going with the names. Realized very quickly that we were in like $15 to $20 a pack, and that we were looking at like, for, you're talking 1,500 packs of seeds, maybe. I mean, what, 150 grand or, something. It was like, okay,
Crazy.
We got to figure out something different here, So we came to the part where I found this guy that does acrylics, like die cut acrylics. And so we had a full die cut cast crystal cut out, and it's backed with like a reflective sticker, and we're able to basically mimic like a crystal. And we're going to do a really cool thing where we're going to put together, there was a lot of stuff that didn't breed well, that only popped out maybe 8 to 10 seeds, less than one pack. So I'm putting together 3 boxes, and anyone who comes up with the best photos of the actual seed packaging when they buy the seeds, we're going to send them, the winners, a little contest, like who will take the best picture of the seed packaging in the coolest shot, right? And it looks like a little gemstone, so your imagination is as cool as you can go. So we're going to do that, and we're going to send you stuff that nobody else will get. If it's 7 or 6 seeds or 5 seeds of GMO time, or maybe Dirty Sprite times Dirty Sprite. I'm not releasing those seeds, so maybe I'll send a few packs of those out.
That's super dope.
Yeah, and those people who come up with the coolest shots of our seed packs, I'm going to send them gifts. I got some interesting stuff that will never hit the market that I'm going to send them.
Amazing. One of the best gift givers I know, for sure.
I would always think about what would blow my top, right? Like, what would just blow me away if someone was like, this is what you'll get, or this is what I'm going to do. And then like, that's what I want to do then. That's the goal.
100%.
So I'm excited. I'm just excited to get these in people's hands, because as growers and breeders, I mean, I know what I put into it, and we know the genetics. So it's not even a question. Fire times fire should be fire.
Talk about the process and like a few things you learned, or like if you would, is
Long.
it something that you are thinking about doing again?
Yes. I'm going to continue doing it. Yes.
Yeah.
I took a break after this breeding project because this was like a 2-year nonstop, took up space and was a constant like extra project above the daily grind of growing. And besides the other grow, I also had to do the breeding project. And so it was like another project I took on for 2 years. It started off as 6 months, we thought, and then progressed from there.
Right.
Dirty Sprite didn't make it easy. But yeah, I mean, I learned so much about plants. I had to relearn that they don't do what you want them to do. You're doing your best to train them, right? And you have to learn about them. They're just like people. Dirty Sprite's a very finicky grower. Well, of course she's a finicky breeder. It's like anything we thought. So it really walked down the process of like, I learned a lot about how difficult, honestly, breeding. A lot of people think it's very easy. It's probably easy if you put a male in there and just shake it around and bloom it. But when you're doing a reversal, we had to stagger the female and the reverse plants. So I had to start spraying the reversal, like the Dirty Sprite that we were going to reverse to male, 13 to 15 days out. I'm spraying it every other day with a solution that would start blocking the female hormones and allow it to reverse to male, right? And then I have to bloom that. So 15 days out, I'm spraying. Then I set that to bloom. Now that strain, I have to now keep in bloom and spraying every other day for another 2 weeks. Then I bloom the room that's going to receive the pollen. All the strains that will be the crosses of that Dirty Sprite, that then 15 days into bloom with Dirty Sprite, that goes into bloom. So that by the time Dirty Sprite is dropping pollen, all the other strains are ready to receive it. And you have to stagger them because Dirty Sprite finishes 73 to 78 days. And we wanted that full of pollen sacs by the time they were in early bloom. Usually, from what I've learned, day 21, 23, 26 is a lot of reception of pollen. So you want to be hitting those marks from what I've been told. And so that was difficult as well. I mean, there was 12 different strains to each reversal, 2 different reversals at the same time. So it was a lot of just, getting down your timing and planning, a lot of planning, and it was successful.
That's awesome. So it all paid off.
It did.
Well, it is,
in the end.
It is paying off.
Yeah, it will. And I'm excited.
When are those going to drop? And like,
I popped the Dirty Sprite times Skittles seeds myself. There was only 32 of them. I popped them all. I'm running through those myself now and seeing some cool stuff. Yeah.
Shout out to those boys.
Those should drop next month, sometime in May. We're finalizing the packaging. I'm going over the top with some just little small things I want to change, and then we're going to drop them through Neptune Seed Bank.
Dope.
Yeah, it's going to be epic, and we're really going to show love to the people on who take some cool photos and really do some cool stuff.
Grabs them up and
I'm excited. Up. Yeah.
Oh, that'll be dope.
Yeah,
that's gonna be fire. So you already popped the Dirty Sprite times Skittles?
Yeah.
How far are those in?
They're in, I'd say like late stage veg.
Okay.
Yeah. So immediately when those seeds dried out and were able to be then like used, I was like, perfect. And I put them in and really crazy blades. I'm seeing some crazy expressions in the leaves that are like 50-50 Skittles and Dirty Sprite, because that's what I'm looking for. I'm actually excited to see everything from like maybe 90% Dirty Sprite to and 10% Skittles to 10% Dirty Sprite and 90% Skittles, right? Yeah, like I'm interested to see everything. So we only out of 4 big mom Skittles plants, I had 32 seeds total.
Wow.
So that's when I say
you about it.
Some strains I can't even release. I have 8 seeds or 6 seeds out of 4 plants.
Right.
They just didn't receive the pop. Dirty Sprite was very difficult, but that's what's cool. That's what makes it cool. So now I get to give those to people who take cool photos and want to get creative with our stuff.
Small batch.
Exactly. It is. It truly is. Yeah.
No, it truly is. Let's talk about that. What is small batch?
Small batch flour.
What do you consider small batch?
I mean, you know what I think really changed a lot, and I'm learning, is people have switched to salts, like raw salts and growing. So you get there's a couple big companies out there now that run just raw salts. And I think that's what's lacking. And that's what's changed in the terpene profiles of some of these.
The nutrients.
Yeah. I mean, I think that plays a huge role. For me as a grower, there's 3 key parts that you have to hit to be like a top shelf grower. Number 1, environmentals. You have to have the right conditions to grow. That room better be ready to actually cultivate in. Second, genetics. You need the right genetics.
Big one.
I mean, everybody at this table knows that. We're smoking on some of the best stuff in Cali right now. The reason 100%. We seeked it out is because of the genetic. And then number 3 is nutrients and or how you use the nutrients, your watering or your irrigation. Like, what are you feeding them and how are you feeding them?
Right.
Those 3 things, if you can get those down, you have growing in a nutshell. Everything else is very minute.
So it brings for the debate of what is small batch and what is considered commercial. And it's like,
it's all in the grower.
But it's like you say, like, do you think that, like, in the difference in the nutrients and the feedings, how about with hand watering or not hand watering?
I have very hands-on experience with this. Is that the last 8 months we've been hand watering 150 lights at the facility I'm working at. I took over a facility that was failing out in Cathedral City, and we've turned it around and brought some money back to the owners, and the owners are about to make, between the last 2 harvests, I'd say somewhere around $750,000 to $1 million. And so
there you go.
We're turning this facility around for them. And so we're hand watering it. And I tell them constantly, if we had an irrigation system in here, I could dial it in even more. And the previous grower that was in there before me believed in hand watering and that it was better. And I think that's some backyard grower. If you have maybe 5 plants tech, I think when you start to scale and you really want to get
scale, right? So let's bring it down
and consistent. You want consistency.
But do you think that the waterings need to be, different for each plant? And
yes,
on
for every
top of
strain.
On top of that, though, they have technology now to dial that all in.
We're in 2021. I mean, it's crazy. There's even sensors that you can put inside of plants, inside of the base, and it'll tell you exactly when you need to feed. Like literally
and it
to
does
the minute.
It automatically,
yes,
right?
It hits. It's the same as you would buy and sell stock automatically.
Absolutely.
It's the same thing. You have parameters, and the parameter swings, and as soon as it swings down, shout out Ramsey.
Yeah.
Ramsey, everybody, Nubani.
Okay.
He's the one we almost, brought into.
Of course.
He started, him and Grodan, and
it's called Arroyo, right?
Yeah, Arroyo. shout out them.
They
do some really cool stuff.
He's a fire ass grower, fire ass dude. Shout out to Big Ramsey, man.
He's actually growing high end hemp actually out in New Jersey now.
I see that.
Really cool. I like the theory, man. I want to see AAA high end fire hemp. I want to see what it looks like. I'm interested.
I've seen some indoor hemp.
That was fire.
Yeah.
How was it? Was it interesting? Did you smoke it?
You would have never been able to tell
that it wasn't weed.
Yeah.
Did you smoke any of it?
Nah, I didn't.
See, I want to try
it's
some.
Different. I have smoked some Delta 8. Delta 8, right?
Ooh, shout out Delta 8.
Yeah, I've smoked some of that, but it wasn't the high end.
Okay.
When I saw it was live.
Yeah.
Living. So it was like, obviously I'm not going to smoke. You know what I mean? But he didn't have any there that was like.
Yeah.
But I also wasn't too tempted. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
When I've smoked it before, it's like, I don't know if I feel it.
It's interesting. I get it, though, because theoretically you could sell it in 7-Eleven.
Exactly.
You could buy an eighth of
the whole thing with this
high-end
hemp is that you get COAs and you're shipping nationwide.
Yeah. Oh, and I like it as a smoker. I think it's pretty cool. I'm interested in it. I want to see, especially if you're saying high end, right? If you attach high end hemp, I'm interested. I would love to try it.
We digressed a little bit, but back to the hand watering. What do you consider craft? Because craft, like you come from small batch.
Yes.
Honestly,
yes.
The honest truth is like some of me seeing your best work was when you were able to do that small batch work and like really baby that situation and like give it that extra attention and love. What's your opinion on that?
Yeah.
Because at scale, it's
yeah
super debatable if we've really seen it yet at scale level of consistency. We've seen it, but is really, really hard to do across the board, right? Like
Very
these people,
difficult.
they have one facility will crush and then
Yes.
another facility is lacking. And
Yep.
you can kind of see it in the product, you know, and even in the shops, right? You know, different shops got different access. But what's your opinion on light-wise? How many lights do you think it would be considered small batch, craft cannabis, boutique?
Well, I'll touch on that. So, a old grower, an old hippie grower that I came up with used to say something that rings true, and he used to say to me, like, it's easy to grow weed. It's very difficult to grow really good weed consistently. And I thought in the beginning, I was like, yeah, for sure, bro. You know, like whatever. Yeah. And then the older I get, I realize, like, damn, how true is that, right? It's anyone can throw a light up and throw some plants in there and grow some weed, right? It's very difficult to consistently grow fire. And he was someone that would even say he does not grow fire. He grew production weed. He knew that. He even would say that to you.
Right.
And that was something he admired about some of us, some of the smaller guys that were, like you say, that were coming up. I think that to say, okay, I've always grown small batch, but I think the biggest thing for me is stepping from a house to a warehouse was a learning experience. So I think there's a learning experience curve into moving into a larger setting. Not to say that it's not craft. I just think there's different, how would you put this? There's different hurdles that you end up having to jump over or through or sideways. I mean, it's just a different learning curve altogether. So the first few years that you're saying the best stuff you had was from smaller settings was just because that was before another learning curve got thrown in, right? Now that learning curve is solved, I would say it's the same. But now LED technology and all that, what is small batch? I think small batch right now for me is under 250 lights.
Really?
I think, dude, I honestly think if you put a couple really good growers together and you put a team underneath them, I think you can grow, honestly, a few hundred lights worth of actual top shelf fire.
Okay,
but
well, how many
you're
lights
paying
per
for
room?
You're paying for the right inputs. You're paying for the cultivation setup. You're paying, like, you're hitting these marks. There's not like, oh, well, now we're just going to use salts because we're huge and we're going to cut corners because we're big. No. You're going to spend money on nutrients. Maybe you're going to use the same nutrients you did in the basement. Maybe you're going to use those same things and you're just going to scale those. And I think strain plays a lot of role. Certain strains you're not going to be able to run in those big rooms, but there are strains that would love that big room. And that's just me. There's growers in town here that you would say are not small batch, thousands of lights, 2 or 3 warehouses, 600, 800, 1,100 lights. That's not small batch. I think they could be considered small batch, meaning the flower is boutique and cared for. That's what when you say that, that's what I think of. I look at this flower and I would think this could be grown in an apartment in a closet and someone spent all day, every day hovering over that plant. Or this was grown in a facility where they had a bunch of really skilled growers putting their heads together and putting in the work, but not cutting corners on nutrients and not cutting corners on running a bunch of strains that produce very high THC and give us 3 pounds of light. So let's put out a bunch of strains that make us a bunch of money. That's considered non-small batch. Small batch is someone who the number one thing is the plant. Right? The quality. And in that is the strain, right? What strain is going to play into that small batch? When you lose those key points, I think that's when you lose small batch. I don't think it's the amount of lights and stuff. I think it's more the grower and how you're handling these plants and the love you're putting into, no, I'm not going to cut that corner. We're going to spend more money on that. No, we're going to do it this way because this is the right way to do it.
It's a long game.
It's the long game and it's the love. You can't lose the love for the plant. You can't lose the love for the process of this is the hard way, but in the end, look what we get. That joint of Do-si-dos we smoked earlier that I brought over, that's fresh. That was burning pure white.
Yep.
That was done with LEDs and that was hydroponic and I mean all automation. Beautiful batch. I could scale that to easily. I think it's the love. Number one, the love. And I think some of these guys, when they sit down with their ledger and they're like, so if we change over to raw salts, we save $700,000 a year.
Yeah.
Versus 3,000 lights we have. And then they start to run these numbers and it's like massive savings. I think when you take a step back from loving the plant and saying, no, I know this is
making it too much about the business. It's similar to like food and everything else. Water.
Yeah.
You look at every industry.
Yes. Life.
Literally every single industry. When you really look at it, the difference between, I would say, like private and commercial.
Yes.
Because like small batch, if you really want small batch, like meaning like the quality wise, like you gotta know somebody that knows somebody. I would
it's
say.
Cared for.
Yeah, and it's
it's
not openly available.
NorCal Nemo,
100%.
Elephant's Growth,
100%.
I mean, Harvest Moon. I would put in the
100%.
conversation.
That Cash Tree Mason.
Yes, I haven't had his flower, but I've heard a lot about it.
I would consider that small batch, like very like so unique.
Hash Era told me it was fire. I've heard from direct people
Insane.
I consider it's that know what's up. 100%, man. I mean, it's the love for the plant. When you start putting in mediocre rounds of flowers in product batches and don't care, now you're going commercial. Like it's a lot of steps. I don't think it's the amount of lights.
Right.
I think maybe that should have went to extracts. Maybe it was a B batch, right? Throw it into extracts and have an amazing extract batch. But instead, you decided on the money. Now you're going away from small batch theory to you're a commercial grower and you're about something a little different than and there's a lot of guys out there that are very successful doing that.
Absolutely.
It's just a different
I still fuck
thing.
with a lot of it.
Yeah. And I'd say that's the majority even older growers that I came up with, when they start to say it's 10 cents versus every dollar of regular nutrient cost, it's this versus that. It's those investors squeezing you is what it is. And when you love the plant, you have to stand up for it. And that's that. Like you either are who you are and you're that grower, or you aren't, and you're willing to grow what those investors want you to grow. And it's one or the other. And if you're going to put your name on it, it better be who you are. It better be what you're about. And I just,
you got to stand on it forever.
Yeah. I mean, that's your art. You're putting that into the world and you're saying like, this is what I do for a living. Go ahead and judge what I do. Mm-hmm. I mean, if you can eat a C grade bud and people are like, ugh, and you're okay with that. I mean,
right.
It's different. You got boutique is in the mindset of the grower and in the amount of hours and quality they put in, the care,
I like that. Boro, what's some of the best flower you ever had?
Yeah.
I'm gonna be biased, bro. I'm gonna say BlackLeaf for sure.
No, that's not.
Let's exclude BlackLeaf. What do you give us a
okay.
good answer besides that?
Honestly, it's been, I would have to say like unbranded type stuff. Like one of the ones that sticks out in my mind is from high school, bro. His name was Uncle Bud. And this dude was like a friend of a friend of a friend that I had to go and like you knock on the door all weird. You have to like the dude didn't have phones or anything.
Even in
He was
Cali.
like, yeah, bro, this dude was like, well, I kind of I didn't live in the area, but I went to high school in like a bougie area.
Like what years?
This was 2012, 2014.
Okay.
But it was,
What
like
area did you go to high school in?
it's called Anaheim Hills, bro. So like, I mean, it's Anaheim, but
OC?
SoCal. Yeah.
But,
OC, shout out them boys.
yeah, bro, the medium income in that area was like $100,000 like per household. So like, it was a nice area,
So you would go to a house and you like knock on the door?
bro, like a legit house in Anaheim Hills. There's actually I probably shouldn't say that, but
No.
yeah, so I would literally go to his house, you knock on the door, fucking ring the doorbell or whatever.
Yeah.
Like you get his attention and he comes in and he's all like kind of like a chubby dude, bro,
Yeah.
long hair, and
Living good.
he had weed all over his house, bro. It was either curing, like hanging there and drying.
Oh,
or whatever,
okay, growing,
or he had,
growing.
like legit, like yeah, bro. Like if anybody, if like a law enforcement or something, he'd be fucked. But it was like 2 stories too. So I think the
Welcome to
upstairs-
Cali.
Even the upstairs had shit too. I don't remember the price necessarily, but that shit was gas. I don't even remember the strain, bro. But it
That's
was
what I was
just
gonna
like,
ask. What was
Really?
the strain? Was it like an OG? I'm guessing.
no, it was a Jack Cross, bro.
Ooh, Let's
your heart
you
racing?
on that, man. I hate Jack.
J1 or
I
Jack?
hate Jack.
Like J1, right?
He had
like Piney?
J1, XJ13.
Okay, he liked those.
hate all of it.
Slimer, bro.
Shit's
Those
a
are
panic attack. Waiting
all
to- it
those are the
just
same
gives me
thing.
Anxiety.
Okay.
It doesn't
Yeah.
even get me high. Really, it's just like.
But you
anxiety.
like those. Those are the ones you like. So
I
you
guess-
like racy sativas.
Yeah, I guess
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think it's because
I
like
like
the
racy
ADD and
sativas.
shit like that, bro.
Yeah.
Like it like helps like me like focus, bro. I don't even know.
No,
bro, but
yeah.
I love that shit, and also the flavor, like the super silver haze.
Another crazy sativa.
That was one of my favorite ones, bro. Shout out to this shop, Anaheim Hotbox, bro. That was the first place I ever worked at. I used to go there and I would buy so much weed, and the dude's like, "You just want to work here, bro? Like you spend your whole like money here." And so during the day I'd wash cars, and then at night I'd work there, pretty much 7 days a week.
Hustle.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Hustle.
From day one. That's what got me
Hustle.
about them.
yeah, serious, bro. And then they had $80 half ounces, bro. I just remember that because I was like, that's such a good fucking deal. This was in 2014.
Yeah.
And I mean, the prices were low now compared to what they are currently. Like, because eights used to be $35 out the door of like
High
the
end,
best,
though?
yeah, the best shit you could get at most
Really?
of the shops in Anaheim.
Wow.
Like OC, Santa Ana, pretty much Santa Ana and Anaheim, bro. You used to be able to just cruise down like Euclid or
Okay.
Main Street, and you could hit. I used to go to sometimes like 20 shops in a day, and you get the first time patient deal, and they give you free shit, bro.
Yeah.
So I would,
Yeah.
and then I would also give them my business cards too, and I'd be like, "Oh, yo, I wash cars too. Like, I'll hook you guys up." And so that's kind of how I really started like getting to meet more people in the industry, because I was washing the owners' cars. I was doing the Mercedes, you know,
Yeah.
Rolls Royce, Bentleys. Yeah, I was real lucky to live there, bro. And when I really started trying crazy shit was when I started going to other places, bro.
Yeah.
Like San Diego. I think it was called P91 or something like that.
Okay.
And that shit was
Tried
like,
some fire bud.
yeah, next level.
Yeah.
Bro. Like it's like super hard to get, kind of.
Yeah.
Like I feel like you mentioned that with the small batch, like it has to be hard to get. Like, do you think that is?
I don't think that it has to be hard to get. I just think that anything worth having it's that good is going to be hard to get.
Yes.
I agree
Period.
with that.
Demand is
Like,
going to
period.
exceed.
Like I've been trying to get the cashmation, a few other things. Like I'm gonna get it, but like just as a consumer, that shit's hard to get.
Yeah.
And you got to figure it out.
Because
You know?
everyone down the line will take the same purchase you will. So the guy before you, the guy after you, there's 6 people before you.
That's
to
what
try.
people don't understand either.
Yeah.
Is that like, yo, you know, everyone, and
Yeah.
it's just like a person will pay more than you for the best.
Yeah.
Really quick.
Well, we're seeing that right now in the
They're
industry.
lining up. Like,
Yeah, I got something on that. Like you were talking about, everybody's always wanting to cut costs. And
Yeah.
something that you've actually taught me in business is, what if you spend more instead of trying to save less? Like, what if you spend more on the product and you get something better and you could charge more? And I've done that and it's worked out.
I told
you know?
him what you told me, and one of the things that you used to tell me is work harder. So it's like if you want something, instead of saying like, "Oh, I can't get that," or "I'm not going to be able to make that happen," it's like, no, just work harder. Like that's the new floor, right? So
yeah, it's like you don't need to save more money. You need to make more money.
exactly.
That's what it's about.
And I passed that on to him, trying to explain that to him, saying,
I mean, the guy, the CEO of LVMH, billionaire, I think he's like the third richest man. He says, with luxury goods comes luxury profits. And that's so true.
I love
like
that.
anything big like that, like
art.
and he's the third richest man. He's in retail pretty much, essentially.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Clothing and fashion. So
And
he's
you
right.
see them trying to get into the weed
He's right.
space a
And
little
look
bit.
at all the stores now. I mean, you see the stores now, what stores have the lines out of it? I mean, Louis,
Yeah.
Gucci, all these stores got lines out of it in every single mall that's open right now.
They weren't even hurt during the pandemic, from what I understand.
No, they're killing it.
Crazy.
I feel like a lot of people made money during
All the luxury
pandemic.
stuff and,
Yeah.
and across the board,
Yeah.
jewelry, cars, boats, everything
Did
sold
well.
out. Sold out. It's like high in demand, doubled if not tripled over the pandemic. So that's crazy. And then and talk about last summer, talk about the experience of how much that changed the game. Where like that, I think that was the first time we were seeing prices like, you know, you see like these
Ever.
$5,000, $6,000, $7,000, $8,000
Yeah.
for one unit.
for the whole crop. I'm hearing people
Yeah,
cash
units.
out
They're doing
30 of them that
full
way. Yeah.
running rooms. And it's still going down now, but did that like birth like what is considered like, and I don't know, it's not that it happened last summer per se, but like last summer, the with the stimulus and the surplus, it like put it on steroids.
Well, I feel like that
It rebalanced the system, in my opinion. It rebalanced prices. Like prices are where I think they should be for fire now. Like,
Right.
I mean, there are people that are charging crazy things. Like you hear about 55, 5, but like fire 4, 42, 44. Fire. I mean, real. You're talking boutique, small batch. That I think that. I mean, that's what it is right now. And I mean, there are people getting crazy prices, and there are people charging crazy prices. But
What else is going on? You guys fucking with crypto?
Oh, bro, you know it. Dogecoin.
Come on, man.
To the moon.
You guys make any money? You guys made
Honestly,
you
I
guys
got-
made a couple hundred.
I got lucky, bro. BlackLeaf told me, maybe June, July, right before I went to Vegas for my birthday.
Last
He's like-
year.
yeah, last year, 2020. He's like, buy Bitcoin.
a year ago, I was
Yeah.
like, because we were talking, and I pass on any good information that I'm utilizing, and I was like, yo, man, I'm already seeing this. I'm reading about it. I'm like spending hours at night reading about what this thing is and what's coming from people, and I was just telling him, like, man, I think you should invest in this.
Honestly, and it's been so. Yeah, I invested when it was last summer, like not super early. Like a couple of my friends got in when it was like 2010 or whatever, when it was like pennies or whatever that shit was.
I should have got into Doge earlier.
Bro, but that shit, it comes and goes. Like you can't let your emotions get into the stock sometimes. I was thinking the same shit. Like I was telling you earlier, I sold it
Yeah,
right when it
should've
came
would've.
up.
Patience. That's the biggest thing this has taught me is patience. I've like pre-bought in and jumped the gun a few times because I felt like I had FOMO. I was missing out. And then it dropped or went where I wanted it to go even more. So I was like, you know what? After a couple times of that, now I'll even give it 24 to 48 hours and see what happens and then make my move or wait even longer. But when I quick buy or quick sell, I've burnt myself a few times where I've been like, I should have waited a little longer.
Honestly, bro, I agree with that.
Even selling or buy, I mean, it goes both ways.
One of my favorite things about crypto though is actually seeing my money work for itself. Like I've always been.
It's cool to see that money can actually do that when it's decentralized.
You can watch it.
Well,
You can
especially-
literally watch
Yeah.
it.
From the point of view, like
Really
I've been
exciting times. Like this will never happen again ever in the face of history.
Yeah.
Like, ever.
Yeah.
next level.
It's
It's kind
I
of
mean,
like cannabis. Like,
amazing.
and they're both just like skyrocketing.
and
you have
they're,
any cannabis
they're in the
stocks?
first 1%, they say.
I have Sundial.
Like they say of like the full growth of 100%, we're in the first like 1% of the growth
Yeah.
of both markets.
Pretty crazy.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's interesting to watch.
But yeah, no, what about street brands? What's your guys' favorite street brands right now?
For cannabis,
Yeah.
some of the ones we mentioned were awesome. I mean, Elephant's Growth obviously is crushing LA. And other places he grows fire, You said Cash Tree Mason. Haven't had it, but I've heard the same. Wouldn't you hear the same review 100 times?
Yeah,
I'm pretty
absolutely.
sure it's someone I have had though. Is you talked about Harvest Moon Gardens. I've had his product. I love some of the Master
Shout out to
Cushes.
them. We got the papaya here right now. This shit's crazy.
NorCal Nemo crushes.
Guava gas.
Guava Gas
Butter
Fire.
pecan.
Yep.
Pecan.
What else is real good that I've had lately? I'm
fucking with the gelato kid too.
Bro, I've been
Sure
wanting
money.
to try
Sure
that.
money.
The
I see
Gushers
that
is
all
like the
over.
old school Gushers.
I'm gonna have
that
to
you
roll
would
one
just
of those
get
up here soon. I wanna try that.
And then the Blue Nerds.
Blue Nerds.
I'm fucking with
What's
that.
the cross on that, or what is
I think it's
Blue times Nerds.
yeah.
Shout out on the packaging too, bro.
No, yeah,
Honestly,
he's killing it.
I
Shout out
love
to
all the
homie, man.
packaging.
Sure money.
Yeah, real dope.
Gelato kid. I'm fucking with him. Of course I like Zushi.
I love gelatos. Yeah.
Skittles. Like,
Team
I'm
10.
been a Skittles
Yep.
fan.
Team 10
And
crushes
what they
too.
do with it, I fuck with it. I love it. Blue Zushi. I'm
Whatever
loving
they're
that.
doing, that I like
Zoe.
that. Yes,
All that. You know what I mean? Like
exactly.
and what else? Street brand wise.
Bro, I'm mostly on the extracts. I really fuck with Trilogy, Hash
okay.
Era.
Shout out that boy Bobby Trill.
Hash Air crushes.
I'm trying to think what else, bro. Honestly, like shout out Ether, bro. He always has different shit.
Yep.
Like I go over there and he's just like, "Hey, I got this, and for you," and I'm like, "Hell yeah, bro."
The streetwear guy.
Grease Mountain, I think was one of them or something
Okay.
like that. The Meltco, bro. Obviously 710 Labs, Resin, Cali Stripe, bro. Those are some of the legal ones I've been getting at, the local dispos.
Legal market's good. It just has a while to catch up. See, it's still
There's
just
some fire in there getting in there though. Like shout out
Extracts.
to shout out to the homie Wizard Trees. Fuck with the RS11.
Yeah,
the whole
yeah,
Doja gang.
Yep.
They're laying down nothing but fire. So I fuck with all that, like the Biscotti Gushers and
Well, yeah, there's definitely
different
some,
crosses and some funky shit coming. The Zope, crazy.
I haven't
Dio
had those
Farms,
yet. I'm gonna try that.
RS11.
Yeah.
That's always a banger.
Yep.
I would
have
say
had
that's in there 100%.
Yeah.
Um,
Fire Farmer, maybe I'm speaking out of line, but I'm not sure if Dio or Fire Farmer, one of the two grew that bred the Zope.
okay.
I either Fire Farmer's growing it or he
think
bred
Dio.
it. Dio bred it?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I've been wanting to see what they Dark Matter they used to do. He used to do a couple different ones that were real interesting.
That's dope. They got a bunch of dope shit going on.
Yeah.
Coming all out of the Bay Area, just like it's always been.
I can't wait for a lot of these growers to get back
NorCal.
on licensed, so that their products available more frequently. It'll be real cool to
100%.
see some of these underground guys hit the market a little more too, where we're getting that same product we were getting Prop 215 days. Now, you see Backpack Boys kind of bringing it back.
Yeah. Shout out to them.
Yeah, they're bringing it a lot more back, where I feel a lot more street and a lot more of like the underground guys kind of coming through that lane, I'm interested to see a lot more of that in LA. I can't wait to see some of the best brands. I mean,
No, they're really dope too, and shout out to them, man. They show mad love to everybody, and they really showed that, like, I feel like they added onto the bag game a lot. Like the Mylar game, that went crazy, and now they got a shop and shit, and they're making it happen.
yeah,
Got all their strains in shops, and now they got a shop. So it just goes to show, like, you can do anything that.
piece by
Teamwork,
piece.
they got a dope team. So shout out to them, man. When I'm talking street brands, I definitely got to mention them in the discussion 100%.
Yeah. Where did the genetics come from? I mean, that's everyone's working, so it's interesting.
How about the debate of, because obviously we know Cali has the best weed.
Yeah.
What's the second best?
Let's say this.
What's coming in after Cali? I'm not going to debate on the first.
But why though? Let's just because
Why?
everyone's gonna
Because roots, because flavor, because culture,
because of talent,
I think the curation, like
talent.
yeah, like
Every grower from is a
it's
different
the
place.
Same reason why artists come here to blow.
Exactly.
Everybody comes to Cali. It's the energy, it's the weather, it's a lot of things mixed into one.
Models
it
go to
sucks
New
'cause
York.
It lost. They come here too, though. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
but for the top, like you have certain places where you get Paris is the
Yeah.
fashion center. Cali is the epicenter for herb.
Absolutely, I agree.
Yeah. And it attracts the best talent. Honestly, I've met every grower I've met out here, half of them are from a different place. And they all
Probably
came
more.
out here for one thing, and they're all they've chased this thing similar to how I have and all of us have. So, no, it's been awesome out
What
here.
would you say second best state?
What's been real interesting is I've never seen more expensive grows than I see popping up in Michigan. I see these grows going up crazy.
You see and you hear, like, I've been seeing some product from there and some brands coming out with it, and like they're onto it. Like they got Cali genetics and shit.
I saw
like,
a place.
they're popping some flavors.
I feel like Michigan has been on like you remember Slab House? I feel like
yeah,
they were
yeah,
out
yeah.
there too, bro. Back in the day, I remember seeing their shit out a lot there. But I was gonna say, bro, I might get some shit on this, but Oregon, bro, low key, when I was out there, like the flavors and the quality was getting a little bit better than a few years ago. But the pricing was just like I could not believe that. Like compared to Cali, like coming to the dispensary here,
But the shop experience there is just poor. Like I don't know. Portland, shout out to Portland. Been to a few shops, kind of dope.
bro. Shout out Bend. Bend's where it's at.
Okay, Ben, which shop?
Bro, okay, I'm gonna be
people
biased. Oregon because they're one of my
Alright.
best clients, man. Shout out Johnny, bro. They're great people. They do great work over there.
Okay.
Again, I'm not like huge on the flower. Like I will get like some flower every now and then, but I mostly smoke it up in like a pre-roll. But their concentrates, bro, just like the amount of selection that they had there, I was just blown away. Like it reminded me of California.
Extracts, I could see how it would make sense.
It's easier to grow for resin than it is for flower.
Yeah,
I'll just leave it there.
Agreed.
So you can grow, some mediocre greenhouse, and I've seen some amazing hash come out of it.
True.
So I mean, it's difficult to grow fire flower. That's the test, right? And then everything else should be fire from there. But I Michigan for sure. I saw a grow that was like I've never seen a grow like this in my life, type stuff. I've seen a few where I'm like, this had like custom floors that were like painted to match the branding, and just unbelievable scale of quality. stuff I've never, you can imagine your dreams. That's the only other place I've seen it like that. I saw New York just legalized now.
Yeah, crazy.
So that's going to be, hopefully some things happen.
New Jersey too.
Yeah. I'm ready. I can't wait to see
Virginia.
let's see some movement, right?
Man,
Let's see
it's
something.
everywhere. It's popping everywhere.
Some dispensaries
So
pop
get
up.
into that though. I mean, so you say Michigan, you say Oregon. I kind of am leaning into Michigan. There's
Yeah.
also a lot of cool stuff coming out of like Maine.
got
That's slept on out there
Yes.
for sure.
Yep.
So
Vermont.
Seen a few dope facilities out there, but
I knew some growers that were coming from Massachusetts. I know Oni and stuff. They were up there doing it. And then I ran into another guy that was up there. So I do believe there's some pockets, but it just seems like I've seen some grows go up in Michigan like I've never seen.
what are your thoughts on Oklahoma?
man,
2,000
production.
dispensaries.
When I think Oklahoma, I think production,
I think of empty space.
and I think of. I think of non-population. Like, what are they?
Yes.
Who is going to smoke this shit? But
Other
at the end of the
states.
day, which mind you, for any listener who doesn't know, Oklahoma, they're doing open licensing. Basically, like you can grow as much as what you have land for, like unlimited.
forever.
I like that. I like that model.
And it's very, 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 very cheap and very easy. They have more license holders than California, and California's been doing this since
2000.
From what I
99.
understand, most of their sales is coming from out of state people driving in and buying. That's
From
that's
Texas and shit.
yeah, in Kansas or something.
Yeah, bordering states. So I mean that makes sense. And then once it like
Whatever.
federally
Let's say Kansas,
decriminalizes,
New Mexico.
That's going
I
to be.
guess it'll make more sense. So I'm sure we'll get a few gems out of there. Like shout out to the connoisseur Oklahoma,
Oh, bro.
your boy West Coast connoisseurs. He's got
Oh yeah,
these people
he's
out there, Tulsa or whatever.
Tulsa.
Oklahoma connoisseurs. Or,
Yeah,
or
yeah,
something,
yeah,
right? Like,
yeah.
shout out
West
to
Coast
them.
connoisseurs. Tulsa.
I'm sure there's some fire that's going to come out of some spots, 1,000%. But
Yeah.
as a state as a whole, when I think of it as like a place to go to like look for real exotic or real fire or
No.
something up and coming, I just think production. I think commercial.
the best
think
places.
I like looking for like just boutique
So-
craft, like gems.
Kind of a question to build. Like once it's federally legal, I feel like being in the Midwest is kind of a key position because distribution, like you'll be able to hit the East Coast and the West Coast. But do you think it's possible to bring like the best weed from, let's say, the West Coast, and can you bring that anywhere and grow that? Like, is that possible?
Yeah, indoor.
Yeah.
And
You're
you
just
think
going to
that-
come up against, is it worth growing it in state? So do you move the operation, or do you license the strains and grow in state for cost, or do you actually ship
franchise it?
product across state? Because there's going to be a bunch of taxes involved. It's not just A to B, right? They're going to make you pay a bunch of taxes. You're going to have to use a certain service that only delivers cannabis. And so is it going to be worth it to do that? Or is it worth it if you're going to actually do a big project? Is it worth it to pop up a grow in the other state and have and actually
Send your
cultivate
team
the
out
product there, So I think it's the same thing with other businesses. I think that's very parallel to some other businesses with that. But
What for anybody getting there, grow up out of state, like all these new states coming online and shit, what would you say are the biggest important things they could know going into it? Like
one more time.
just got a new warehouse, just got approved for licensing. We're in New Jersey, say all the lights are up.
Same.
What's the
3
most
points.
important thing?
Same
Yeah.
3 points. Environmentals, genetics, irrigation.
How big of a role do genetics play?
Third. A
Third?
Yeah.
A third of it?
and
Okay.
this is me. This is my
Yeah.
18 years experience. There's 3 points you hit, and that's how you get to where you're going for growing. I mean, you can grow mediocre herb that same way too.
Yeah.
Mediocre environment, mediocre genetics, mediocre irrigation and feedings, and you get mediocre product. But those are the 3 points to get to where you're going. Without those 3, you don't get product.
From how easy is it during the growing process to go from A+ bud to like B+ bud? How easy is that? Like how easy of a mess up is that?
One day.
One little tweak.
One day. One night where your dehumidifiers can't keep up with your humidity and you get a spike, or you
Just
get a
anything.
drop, and then you get spores that start. And the spores create, I'm sure other people have heard of powdery mildew. So that takes one night, one time. So you have to have the amount of dehumidification, and your ACs need to actually be reading control.
And that's
in
just
the room.
one thing that could happen too. It's like,
Yeah.
obviously, right? Like,
Oh, it's never one thing. It's always a bunch of things.
so A+ runs are
are everything hits the mark.
Like grand slams.
Yeah. It's it's the hardest part about is consistency. Yeah.
100%, because when you think in any sporting or any event or any game or anything, for the team to hit every single mark, or the player to hit every single mark, it's almost, you know what I mean? But I guess with the automation and everything, it's caught up.
That's what people don't believe in, and that's where
it's hard for them to put their trust into. It's kind of like
that's what you need though. That's how you take it out of there. You don't have 6 variables by 4 different growers, 3 different guys. You have a system that handles 99% of the work, and then you check that system and you handle that 1% variable. Now you have consistency. Now you're able to put what you do into that, right? Now where's the human come in and take that to the next level, right? But the basis is covered. If it needs to be automated, your environment automated, your feedings automated. You have to get those consistent. You have to, look at people. If you're an artist, or if you're an athlete and you're at the top of your game, you eat at the same time every day. You eat a similar meal, a similar meal, meaning the carbs, the proteins, the breakdown is the same. You have the same,
right? Like everything's scheduled out, everything's weighed out,
and it's the same with cannabis. Cannabis, same process, same thing, same breeding, and so you have to have that control. Your environment. When you hear kids go crazy and kids have issues, it's because their environment was out of whack growing up, right? Same thing.
Yep.
Same exact thing. It's paralleled.
Wow.
So it's 1 for 1.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Plants, people like plants.
It's the same thing.
Same exact thing.
Yeah.
Life.
Yes.
Living organism.
The process of life is the same. The breeding, the female, the stage of growth when they want the actual pollen. There are 20 days. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's so, when you really understand plants, it's so similar to people that it's almost relatable at every turn.
Wow.
Weak plants get diseases and have issues. Guess what? They get diseases because they have a weak immune system. What happens when people go into the hospital to have a weak immune system? They end up dying, but not from the thing that they went in for sometimes. It's so similar that almost every instance you can relate parallel to a plant's life. That's how I've gotten to really understand what's going on when I see something, and then derive what had happened, or how did we get here, or how do we fix this, is understanding, okay, what happened, and playing this back. And this, it's so parallel to a person's life.
100%. And then obviously tie in branding with that too. You're going to need a brand.
Yeah.
Get your op started. You got a banger strain, 2, 3, 4. You're going to build a little menu.
The day we landed in Cali, I remember
branding.
Here's an Instagram, and we're going to mean, it was like,
we already knew the name.
Yeah. Out of the gates though. If I remember making lists, I had 5 pieces of paper from top to bottom that had different names on it. Random.
That's been a crazy shift too, from growing up here and being in the Prop 215 market. It was almost a distinct change, bro. Like I think maybe
you had to get your shit together.
Like maybe around like 2015, 16. Like I remember West Coast Gear, they were one of the first ones to have their like label on it.
Hardcore OG.
Yeah, bro. That, and then the Dr.
I used to love the hardcore.
$100 gram of shatter, bro. $100 gram of shatter.
And it was
fucking paid for it,
super fire.
It was. How come they don't make BHO like that anymore, bro? I've been wanting that, and
hey,
they
bring
don't
the
have
hardcore back, man.
Bring BHO back.
Good BHO, bro. Not the CRC
J
shit.
Cures, bring the hardcore back, man. We need that.
But yeah, I'd love to see the BHO market come back, because what you don't see is you have all these hash brands and they're dropping solvent lists, but it's only because that strain produces a lot of resin. What about these strains that Buddy was growing? That's just a beautiful flower, an amazing flower smoke, but now we're not getting that wax because it's not worth it to him to do those batches that he used to do. So you see GMO in almost every cross. You see the same lineages in all the hashes right now. So it's like, I would love to see BHO come back to where we start to see small batch, different flavors come back.
Bro, that's something that I miss. Like back in the day, you used to be able to go to the shop and you could go to like 10 different shops in a day and all of them would have a different menu. Like, they'd have some of the similar stuff. They have Blue Dream, Girl Scout cookies.
We used to love that. We would go to 10 shops and try all different stuff.
Yeah, and it was the best shit, and it didn't come. Some of the best weed.
You could actually smell it.
Yeah,
Get
bro.
it?
Yeah.
No, it's
Type
like playing
in.
scratch offs.
Remember when we went to Black Rose and you would actually be able
Yeah.
to smoke there? You could sit
Oh
down.
yeah.
Oh, the old
had a
school
t-
lounges were
Oh,
the shit.
Yeah.
I
Those were
miss.
the shit.
That's what's missing in LA.
That was so dope.
But
man.
that's what's missing in LA.
Well, they just had that
lounges.
because we sat down
Yeah.
at the Cannabis Cafe,
Yep.
Lowell's. Or they called
It's
it
now.
Lowell's,
It's not.
just
Now it's
Cannabis Cafe,
OG
right?
Cannabis Cafe.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was dope though.
It was cool. They need some TVs and they need to throw like events with like a they need to get into the
Yeah.
vibe of like it's a
It
culture.
can't be like it was just like a tea shop.
Yeah, and they
Is-
served some decent food, and it was like cool and novelty to be able to smoke and do that. But now let's take it to the next level and create an experience and have some fun there. And
Where
like,
you can kick it and meet your friends, and because you see that now. You see in
Yep.
certain things and shows, and all these other states are coming online, and like you see, not everybody. A lot of people aren't drinking. A lot
No.
of people are just coming to hang out and smoke.
Yep.
And people want to be more social now when they're smoking. Like everyone thinks he's stoner, just wants to sit in his room by himself.
no,
I know a lot of people they only will smoke with people.
yeah,
You
know what I mean?
People used to think I was weird in high school for wanting to do shit when I got high, bro. They'd be like, "What do you mean? Like you just don't want to chill and stuff?" I'm like, "No, what are you talking about? Like, let's go ride bikes.
Right,
Let's
that's
go
the
work out.
whole
Let's go
point.
do something
yeah.
fun."
It
Like,
is.
What's
You know?
your favorite thing?
That's
to
what
do
you
high?
get kind of stuck on is like, oh, we'll smoke before.
My best ideas and my best thoughts come from that is getting out of my realm when I'm stoned
Nice.
or when I'm hot, when I'm medicated and I'm able to basically just think different. Honestly, so
I would agree with that. I've had some of my
Psychoactive.
yes,
Cannabinoids.
psychoactive
Talk about that.
cannabinoids.
next question.
Fresh flower. I mean, psychoactive cannabinoids, aka fresh flower. And me and C used to talk about this a lot, and I used to bring this up a lot. That there's nothing like fresh weed. Fresh flower has the psychoactive effect still, where in my body, in my mind, when I smoke fresh flower, I get my best ideas, my most vibrant ideas in that state. It's that fresh flower. It's really hard to say anything, but it has that psychoactive effect still in those cannabinoids. There's nothing like fresh flower.
Nothing like it. And like even top, what I consider craft, if it's been aged too long,
Yep.
I don't prefer it.
It's
Just
different.
because I like the active mental state of flow that it brings. And that's the whole kind of point of the show is the first smoke of the day. These are our first smokes of the day. And it brings forth good conversation between good people.
Yeah.
And that's what cannabis has always done for me, to where I smoke early in the day with another cannabis user and we always have a great conversation.
Yeah.
So me and Elle over here, like we for years would just have our first smoke of the day and like talk about what we were going to do with the business, what we're going to do with this idea, with that idea,
with life.
everything. And like we had our best conversations due to the fact we had access to fresh off the vine high-end cannabis.
First smoke of the day, though,
100%.
specifically.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, it is.
And you're kind of chasing from there, you know what I mean? And it's just like, and some people wait till they smoke at night and that's their only. And
but for
I know
us,
people that do that, and that it's the same thing. I'm sure that's why they like it. And so
yeah. It was also our only time together where we got to really brainstorm like that. Because
kick it
at
off.
night you come home and after 8 hours in the garden and 8 after, office,
start,
working, this,
It's
business,
different.
real estate. The last thing you want to do is now put that immense amount of energy into brainstorming. And you know that with
different.
mentors.
It's a different state of flow.
It is. And
It's
that
a more
first
calm
smoke.
state of flow, whereas in the beginning and in the morning and you're
Yes.
smoking, you get excited, but
That's
it's
what I was
like
just gonna
it's
say.
uplifting, I should say.
Yeah.
And it's uplifting, and it's like whatever those creative juices are, that's what's going through.
Yeah. No, it's vibrant. And that's first smoke of the day. I mean, he used to bring it
100%.
up to me all the time and say, there's something about the first smoke of the day.
100%. And about obviously good chronic,
Yeah. Fresh flowers.
fresh flower, the good shit. And when it ages, it forms CBN, and that's what gives you like tired and hungry feeling.
Yeah.
Which that's what I want to take out of the cannabis a lot of the time. You know what I mean? Like I'm all down for the munchies and stuff, but I want to get some stuff and do some stuff. But yeah, we're gonna wrap this up. Let's bring this full circle. Shout out to that boy Boro.
Yep.
Thank you.
Shout out to my man BlackLeaf.
What up?
You already know. First episode, first smoke of the day.
Yep.
Appreciate having you guys.
Best
Thank you
smoke
for
of the
having us,
day.
man.
Keep smoking.